Welcome back to the AM Club here on MX24. We're excited to have you back. My name is Miriam Udwak-Mensah. We're going straight to our lifestyle daily conversation, and today we're talking about public speaking, okay? Yesterday, it popped up in one of our conversations about, people having challenges, talking to people, facing, the public sometimes, and people shying away, and also people using substances just to be able to face the public. Well, today, our producers have done due diligence for us to touch on that topic this morning. So let's get into it. Joining us for the conversation this morning is Jemima. Is it Jemima? It's Jemima, not Jemima. I mean, hey, today they're fire for me. Jemima Akosua Okaikor Okai. She's a public speaker and a coach. And let me tell you another thing about her. She sits very confidently. She sat in as a lady. She owned her space. Hi, Jemima. How you doing?
Hi.
This one is part of the coaching.
Oh, no.
See, you know your job.
No, but is posture not part?
Yes, it is part.
I mean, she came in and she sat like she's about to own the conversation. Yeah. That's when I knew that we had the right guest for the conversation. Yes. How you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. Public speaking. Yesterday, ironically, it popped up in one of our, conversations that people, some creators would like to take substances to be able to face public, and I brought it up that there are people who are genuinely scared of crowd.
Yes,
they can't face people, and so they have to do different things to be able to face the crowd. Some would have to run away from a craft, even though they might be gifted in the area. They run away from it because they have to face people. Now let's go back to the conversation because it will pop up in some part of the conversation. Let's keep it at the back of our mind, and let's jump into the art of public speaking.
Yes.
Take us through. Let me see if we can start from what it is. Let's define what public speaking is.
Public speaking is sharing your worldview of things, basically, to a group of people for an intended purpose. So with public speaking, you don't just talk. You are speaking to a group of people, specific group of people, for an intended purpose. So there should be like an outcome after you speak. It's not about making noise. It's not about just opening your mouth. With public speaking, even the things that you say and the things that you do not say are very, very key. Yeah. So that is it. In its simple terms, it's just about communicating to a group of people for a particular purpose.
Okay. Yeah. But I love what you just said. What you say is critical. What you don't say is critical. Also critical. So what are the do's and don'ts of public speaking then?
Well, you should look at why you are talking.
Okay.
The purpose of which you are speaking. What is the objective, the outcome of your conversation, of your discussion, of your presentation? When you know that, then you tailor the things you say and the things you do not say to it. Do you understand?
Those are the do's.
Yeah. So that's first of all, that's the whole notion that you should have. Now, knowing this, then, for instance, because if I'm speaking to a certain group of people, let's say a professional group of people, and I go in, and let's say lawyers. Lawyers, there's a perception that they are confident. There's a perception that they are intelligent. Good. So when you enter into the room, your demeanor would one way or the other invite them to listen to you, or they will be out of the room. Some of them will just judge you by your outlook.
Your appearance.
Okay. Your gestures. Just by that, in the first few seconds that they encounter you, those things can count that, okay, the person will continue to say, okay, I'm here to listen to you. Or you can say whatever you want to say and go. So I always say that depending on who you're going to speak to, watch the purpose of the conversation. Because there are certain places you can't jump around. And there are certain places you need to jump around. So when you know why you're going to speak, the people are going to speak, and the purpose of which you're going to speak, that's when you tailor your yes. So there is no like one size fitting all, but depending on what you're going to talk about, who you're going to speak to, even where you're going to talk. Those are all the key things you have to.
Now, one of the and I'll keep touching in this area because it's a big thing for me. What are some of the fears that people face in public speaking? And whilst you highlight these fears, can you help us on how to overcome them?
Yeah, so there are so many things that people are afraid of when it comes to public speaking. They are afraid that people will judge them. the mindset is that people are just coming to, let's say, mark you, or the mindset is that people are just coming to see if you are good or not. But I always say that public speaking is not about being perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's not about trying to sound flawless. No. You can have certain speaking conditions and still be a great public speaker. So some of my students tell me that, first of all, they're afraid to be judged. They're afraid to make mistakes. You want to speak English like the Queen Elizabeth. It doesn't work that way. You shouldn't have that mindset. You shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes. You can make mistakes. You can correct yourself. You can, even go back to ask to, come back to give feedback. So you don't have to be afraid to make mistakes. Some people too feel like no matter how prepared they are not prepared. Some people do not even have confidence in themselves, like whether they are worth speaking. Because they have given themselves certain parameters or have a perception about who a public speaker should be. So they're like, I don't fit in that. That's why sometimes when you call somebody to speak, they're like, oh no, I can't talk, bring this person. Because they feel like they're not worth it. That kind of mindset, if you have with public speaking, you can have value, you can know the technical skills, but nobody will know who you are. You'll just be, left unknown. I know people who are like top managers in the organizations, and what happens is that they would be at the background, do all the technical work, the hard work, and then ask somebody to go and do the presentation.
Yes, I've been in that position before.
Yeah. When that happens, the truth about public speaking is that it exposes you to people easily. You are easily identified amongst crowd. People are able to appreciate what you have. And so when you defer your speaking opportunity to someone else, the truth of the matter is that they will take the glory. And nobody will know all the hard work you put in.
Yeah.
So you should own your space. If you have the technical skills, you should be able to communicate it.
Do you at any point believe, and these are two things, that everybody can be a public speaker, or there are people that are not meant for this at all? They should never even try it.
Public speaking is a skill. Just like any skill. If you have the desire, you'll be able to speak. So first of all, so far as you desire to be a good public speaker, you should be able to learn that skill. It's for everybody. It's for a child. It's for a baby. It's for a child, like a speaking person. It's for an adult, old person. No matter who you are, if you have the desire, you'll be able to learn
the skill. So it's not like that. Some people were built. Okay, I've also heard of the gift of the gab, where people are blessed to talk, like somebody that I know. We're not going to mention her name this morning. But they are naturally blessed with, the gift of the gab, where they can talk and talk and talk. And wherever they find themselves, they'll find something to be saying.
Yeah.
Right. And then there are also people who have to have a reason to talk. So these two people are two different people. Would you say that both of them have to learn a special skill to be a perfect public speaker, or the fact that one can talk anywhere should just go ahead and pursue public speaking, the other who can't face people should just sit at the background because they are not, naturally gifted?
When I speak about public speaking, it's not only the one who has taken it as a career. Okay, so there are people that they are very confident. For me, for instance, as I was growing up, I've been a talkative child.
So you get deep in class.
No, I was always the class professor. So I'll talk and then eliminate my name.
Nice.
Interesting.
So there are people that it comes to them so easily, and there are some people they have to learn it. Both of them have the opportunity to be good at public speaking. Both of them have the opportunity to be good at public speaking. It's just that the person who loves to talk would always love to talk. Would always take every opportunity that comes to them.
Untriggered.
Yeah. The person who doesn't love to talk would want like that situation or instance or maybe that invitation to speak. Either ways, you should still have the tenet of public speaking. So I feel like no matter what you are, who you are, where you are, you should be able to speak, so far as you desire to speak.
Now
sorry. I want us to get into, in fact, both of us are talkative, so you get it.
It helps.
It helps. She's not? Trust me. In fact, if two of us are supposed to go to a place, I'd want her to speak. Because we're the Obekasa. But we both talk. That's it. That's why we're on the show. Yeah. Anyways, you did speak about gestures, and I want us to get into that. What are some of the, let's go practical. Right. What are some of the gestures that practically somebody would do and it would put the audience off?
Okay.
Completely.
Right.
I mean, things that probably you might not even think of, but maybe you raise a particular hand or you do something, it will just put somebody off or put your audience off. Especially when you enter into an auditorium where your audience are all seated with their suits and tie and waiting for you to speak. These are people of honor, people of excellence, people who are looking forward to hear something very intelligent coming out from you. Maybe you might just do something and it might go like...
So, for instance, the way and manner in which you ask people to get up.
Okay.
You can't say, get up. It looks very insulting, condescending, like, get up. If you want people to get up, no matter who they are, respectfully, you just want to, give that sign of getting up. Those are body languages that you wouldn't think it has meaning, but the receiver interprets it differently. So get up or get up. You see the impact.
Yes.
Totally different, but at the same time asking them to get up.
The same thing.
When you go into the room, even the way you stand. Some people go and stand and just stand akimbo. You know, akimbo standing. Like... They'll just stand akimbo and then just standing at one corner. It shows that you're not confident. On the stage, you should...
Like you did when you came on our show.
Oh, my God.
This chick came on our show and she said, who's here? I don't see you. I'm here. And I love it.
On the stage, you've got the stage. Use the stage. If you stand at one side, some people, let's say the other people sitting over here may think that they don't matter. It's like you're talking to this group of people. And then your eye contact.
Okay.
They're all gestures that you are making. Sometimes some people will be speaking and they keep on looking at one side of the room or one particular person throughout the whole speech. I'm like, me sitting here, don't I matter? That would be the question that will be going through the head of your audience. So it's important that you learn how to move your eyes across the room to make everyone feel like, yes, you're talking to all of us and we all matter. And then the focus is on all of us, not on one person. When you do all those things, it's like the sort of incorporation, the sort of acceptance, the sort of reception, both your end and then how your audience to interpret that gesture. So your hand gesture, how you, even your, sometimes some people are making presentation and they are fidgeting with their hands. It's like...
So it looks like you're more nervous.
Yes, it shows nervousness and it shows that you're not confident. And some people, by virtue of that, can decide not to even listen to you.
Then I would also ask about overconfidence. Because
it can be irritating.
It could be irritating, right? And at what point does it show your audience that, well, because probably when that happens too, you would have your audience also walking out at the same time because they feel like, who are you? I mean, we also know our stuff, so why would you come and pose as if you know it all? At the end of the day, what are some of the things that would put you at that point where people will feel like you're too overconfident about this?
Before you answer that, I've heard this phrase before. Overconfidence is better than no confidence at all. So I just wanted to throw that in.
You see, most times, anybody that acts that particular way, first of all, it starts from the mindset. How they view their audience. What is the mind? How they view their audience. So, first of all, is the mindset that speaker has. And that's what will translate to their gestures and even the words, the choice of words that they will use. So if you respect a group of people, you choose your words very wisely in a way that resonates with them and in a way that they will accept you. if you do not respect a group of people, you speak to them anyhow, even your tone.
Yeah.
Your tone, your modulation are all key. You will see it so easily. Like somebody come and stand here, you people get up and go. You just know that this person doesn't respect you. But hello, can you please get up and go? Know that in the mindset, the person respects that, oh, you are somebody and I need to acknowledge the respect. So first of all, it starts from the mindset.
Yeah.
You have to have like a service mindset, like a servant mindset. I always say that public speaking is about serving people. Imagine I've come to sit here and I'm not even answering your questions respectfully. You know, sometimes when you interview certain politicians, they're just there and then they'll be throwing
The words are you.
jabs at you. Like they'll just be like, as if you don't read.
Yeah.
Makes you, the presenter, look very,
Yeah.
I don't want to use certain words.
Yeah.
So it's because of the mindset they have about you. Like you are just here coming to talk. But if they respect your job, they will react or treat you, engage with you differently.
So then that comes to how you carry yourself too as well.
Yeah, so your mindset translates to how you carry yourself. So if you know that I've come here, I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve the listeners. I'm here to serve the listeners. It means that I have to give them value, I have to appreciate who they are, and I have to respect them as well.
Have you used this phrase before? Tom, Dick, and Harry.
I find the second word very unappreciative, so I don't.
So you don't use it?
No, I honestly, it's a person's name, right? But anytime I think about the second word, I'm like,
it looks, because of how
my God.
society.
it doesn't sound well in my mouth. It doesn't sound well.
Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I'll tell you what.
You want to put yourself into trouble.
And this is a case, you learn from mistakes, you get it. And I believe that works. And as you're saying, the reason why I'm asking about this is because it's an experience. But I said it in a very, very politeful way.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Stop
sister.
making Harry, my brother.
No, politeful way. I think it was an event where I wasn't the MC, that I was part of the organizers, and it was a runway event. So we were supposed to open it up for the audience to come in at a certain time, and they were coming in very, very, very early. So we had people trooping in and all that. So then one of the big bosses comes to me and says that, you know what, pick up the mic and find a way of telling everybody to please kindly move out. So we check the tickets one more time before they come in again. Here I am, I don't know what came into my mind, but I mean, that actually even came into my mind first. But I didn't say that first. What I said first was politely, we would want everybody to please step out so we can please kindly check
then I'll
your
tell you the
tickets
context
again.
in which they use that Tom, Dick, and Harry. Go ahead.
You do get me. And then, secondly, instead of saying the same thing, oh my God, Kojo Dasabere, what happens again? Please, respectfully, we would want every Tom, Dick, and Harry to please kindly leave it.
No.
No way.
Oh,
So then, so then that happens. And for me, I am in a corner somewhere because the auditorium is quite big.
Yeah.
But I'm in a corner somewhere and I see about 10 or 15 people, elderly people, moving towards my direction. And I don't know how they even got to know that it's coming from this particular side.
Right.
And they came straight to me. Jemima. And all these 15 people are like, my friend, who are you calling Tom, Dick, and Harry? What do you mean?
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, mommy. And I said, no, man, can you boni you? And the mommy was like, Google Tom, Dick, and Harry right now. Let me show you who you are.
Yeah.
Then I Googled right in front of her,
Yeah.
so she could see what it is. And she was like, so you see, you're supposed to use it with my child, who is just like you, not me. But you speak very well. And we want to acknowledge the fact that the first instance, you said it politely.
Okay, so again, if anybody who likes to be overly excited about using English words, let's do this correction. Let's do this correction and then move on to my next question, because I think that the next question, you love it. That phrase, and again, I don't use it, so I'm going to use it for the benefit of this conversation. Tom, Dick, and Harry is used for a situation when the people that are involved are disregarded. They are not seen. Like, you are on, for the benefit of this conversation again, we are on morning show. You don't matter, right? Like, just anybody.
Yeah.
Just anybody is Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah.
So when you want to tell somebody that just anybody cannot talk to me, you can say
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
so every Tom, Dick, and Harry can now come and talk to me. You know, you can use it in these instances, not to address.
So I'm using my experience to just educate our audiences that as part of public speaking too as well, you must know what. Don't go over because to me, the topic that I hear say somebody use that before.
When you
make
make
it
excited, you know, what's funny is that these are names of people. Tom is a name.
Is a name. Dick is a name. Harry is a name.
So when you think about it,
it's everybody. Idiomatic expression.
Now let's get to the
sorry.
my next.
No, it's a lesson that I love it.
Yeah.
I so love it.
And I love this for you. Another thing is that I've met a lot of public speakers who are overly excited about using English words.
Yes.
And so they'll use an English word in the wrong context. And you see them, I'll be squirming. I'm like, yo, bro, you can't say that. But that is besides the point, and also in the conversation of, you know, overconfidence.
Yeah.
But have you ever been in a situation where you are caught like off guard, like you have to improvise?
Yeah.
And what did you do? Like, for instance, you're supposed to host a certain time, you know, you're given a structure to host an event or to speak to people, and then say to say you can't do the projection of the slides that you're putting together. You've had to improvise. So that's an example. You've had to improvise in any situation. What did it look like for you?
Yes. So there was a presentation that I had to make, and just as like you use the lights out, so you feel like you're coming to use your slides to, you know, help to drive the conversation, and here there's no light, there's no projection of your presentation, your slides. Then now it comes to the fact that you should know your onions. You should know your onions.
No, you prepare them.
Yes. So you should know your
onions.
onions. And then you should be able to look for other ways to still drive your message home. Let's say, for instance, you have a photo that you wanted to show to them. Let's say a teacher is teaching osmosis and diffusion, and then they brought yam. There's no video for them to show you. You have to, you know, look for something immediately. Maybe you call some of the participants in front, respectfully, also by their permission, and then you know, use that to make the example. So you can use things in the room to help you drive the information. Secondly, if you were going to make the presentation, let's say behind the podium, and now you don't have your slides to help, you know, continue to help drive the conversation, you can move around the room, because now, first of all, the slides help with grabbing attention. So your audience will be maybe paying attention to the slides. But this time around, there's no slides. That means that the distractions that's going on in the room are going to increase and may, you know, take the purpose of the conversation out of the room, because now what drives the attention or keeps them looking at you is no more there. So when you walk through them, it also helps bring them in the room, like there's a presence of you close to them. So there are so many ways you first of all have to know your onions, just so that if anything happens, you are still, you know, above your head, you have your head above water. And sometimes you have like impromptu sections. You haven't prepared for anything, and then you are just called upon to speak.
I don't know
what called out.
I've had instances
I love
where
the fact that she's coming there, because then again, you know that this is a skill. So, I mean, spontaneously, what can you do?
Yes. So there are certain impromptu situations as well. For instance, I've gone for an event, just the fact that I'm there, I'm called upon to come and speak in front of them. That means that all the time as a public speaker, like I should have something to share. You always have to be prepared. Because, for instance, we're having an interview. There are certain questions that, you know, I may not expect, but to help the conversation, you may bring it in just to help the conversation. I always have to be alert. I always have to be prepared, and I always have to be able to, be sincere as well. Because sometimes when you are put on the spot, you tend to lie.
Yeah.
You tend to lie. But I believe that if you are serving people, you should be very honest with them. Yeah. If you do not know, feel free to say that, I'm sorry, I cannot.
I cannot speak to this.
Yeah. You should be feel free to say that I think I would go and look it up and come and share with you later. Share with me your email. I'll get back to you. You should be able to say that. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't take away your value. It just shows that you are very honest with the group of people you are speaking to.
You're wondering why I'm laughing.
You have an experience?
Tom, Dick, and Harry. You didn't know.
So then, what percentage does research get into public speaking?
As in
research, you, the public speaker.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. You have to really research to be able to speak, because sometimes there's certain topics that you may not have the information at the tips of your finger. You would need to go and read materials. There are two forms of gathering information: the primary research and then having a secondary. Primary may be lived experiences, your personal experiences, or that experience of your friend that would be in line with the topic of discussion. So those are like first source information. Secondly, you can also look at books. It's very important, because don't come and lie to your audience. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I think that some of your audience have already also done their research.
Yes,
so
they are very intelligent.
Yeah.
So you can't come and throw dust in their eyes. Don't go and lie to your audience. So do proper research, have proper search into the topic that you're going to discuss. Read books, watch videos, listen to people. Sometimes you can just ask somebody, what do you think about this? The person gives you a perspective. You can incorporate it into your discussion. So research is very vital. Every speaker, before any speech, especially the ones that you are aware of, you should do proper research so that you can even put the conversation in context, the conversation to tailor to your audience. Because there's certain discussions that we can have with a group of people. Same topic, but you can't have it with kids. You can't have it. You can have the same topic with kids, adults, professionals, but the choice of words, the examples you use should be tailored to your audience. Okay, so let's say we're talking about money. Right now, kids, if we are talking about money, we are talking about savings with them. We are talking about the fact that you can, your money can go somewhere and then multiply for you. There's a language you use. There's what is appropriate for their age. When you're talking to young adults, you also want to go deeper into the details, because you feel like at this point they should be able to assimilate the information that you will be given to them. So in your research, when you do proper research, it will help you to tailor your information to your audience. Mind you, are serving them. So if you can't go and serve kid who takes breast milk, fufu. You would have given the person poison, even though you're giving the person food. Good. So you have to know your audience. So when you do proper research, you can help tailor your information to your audience, who they are, and how relevant it will be in their lives. Let's say you're speaking to a group of lawyers and you are telling them about finances. As a lawyer, what are some of the things that you think at their level they will be thinking about? Senior lawyers, they'll be thinking about investment for their children, for their grandchildren. So you're going to talk about finances. You're not talking about save money here, save money there. No. So can they double their money? How can they, invest their money in such a way that their kids will benefit from their hard-earned work? That's when they will appreciate you. You have to know who you're going to talk to. You have to know what they need. So when you do proper research, it will help you to, select information and then give what they really need at that particular time to them.
Now, that was very intense, and I hope you're learning. I hope you're
free masterclass.
Free masterclass. Free masterclass. And you can only get it here on the AM Club on MX24. Now, let's go back to and this one is because of the first thing Jay said about the subject, and honestly, it's not because it was already there. What are the common mistakes? I will laugh at you, I promise. It's one there, people.
No, but it's good. I mean,
this one doesn't spare me, so I will laugh at you. But let's go back to the common mistakes that public speakers make. People who are coming into the space need to learn? Because some of them, or some of us, let me put it this way, some of us, we think we have arrived, so we are unteachable.
Yeah.
But for the people who are yearning to become public speakers, those who desire to be public speakers, what are the common mistakes that are done, that are being made now, that you would advise never to happen? It's taboo. Don't repeat it. Don't do it. It's never done.
Going into a meeting unprepared.
Ooh. Preach on, sister. Preach.
Going to a meeting unprepared, I feel like it's an insult to your audience.
It is.
You one way or the other have insulted them for coming inside the room. And then also not being able to take pressure. Certain things can happen to you on the stage, in the room of speaking, that it only takes somebody who is able to stand pressure to be able to, take control over the situation that they may encounter. Let's take, for instance, as somebody is speaking and somebody walks in and tells you, for instance, maybe the organizers walk in and tell you that you are on, you have limited time.
Yeah.
And you feel like you've not even shared all that you want to share.
Yeah.
At that moment, as a public speaker, you should be able to know how to even stay calm, because as soon as you are given that time limit, it can trigger nervousness.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to stay calm and then be able to reorganize your information. So it could also mean that you would have to summarize what you are saying. You have to also be very smart. Public speaking is not for just talkative people, it's for smart people.
Thank you.
So you have to be very smart enough to be able to know how to reorganize your information so that you still make your audience feel like honored or valued, or they've come to learn something from you. So if you are an upcoming public speaker or somebody who wants to learn public speaking, like you said, you have to be teachable. You have to do a lot of research. You have to be ready to take pressure. You have to be smart, be able to improvise.
Think on your toes.
Think on your toes. Yes. You have to be smart. You have to learn. You can go through training as well. It can help you, because almost all the people that I've trained so far are doing marvelous things. Sometimes I'm even shy of them. Yeah, because
you can't go where they are going.
They are even more than their teacher. Like, there's those situations where you can teach somebody
and the person becomes even amazing. Whilst you're touching on that, let me add this. No, so for that, there are certain people you've talked about thinking on your toes. I brought that up because I wanted to touch on this particular conversation. There are people that naturally have to process everything that is given them. So they cannot think on their toes. You have to give them time. You have to let them rest on a conversation. These people can naturally tell you that, can I think about it before, coming back to you? Yeah. But as a public speaker, you have to learn to improvise.
Yeah.
So you are required to think on your toes, yet you are naturally deficient of that. You're naturally, let's say, disabled in thinking when it comes to that area. Like, you can't think on your toes. You have to process things. You have to understand before you speak. There are people who are naturally like that. For someone like that, what would you tell them to do?
Good. And most times, people even encounter that. No matter even who you are, you can encounter that, especially when you are being put on the spot. Especially when you ask something that you are not even thinking about, you've not prepared for. It's a skill, impromptu speaking, where there are tricks to it, right? So, for instance, you ask me a question, I'm not prepared for it. One of the things that you do, because you need time to think about it, is, first of all, I use it all the time. I can ask you to repeat the question to buy me time. And then you wouldn't know that I need time to, process the question you asked me.
Wonderful.
So I can ask you to repeat the question. Sometimes I myself can repeat the question, or, repeat the question, but in a way that allows me to also break down the question.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you're asking me, should the boy go? Then I'll repeat and say, assuming that the boy will actually want to go. Like, you just put it in a way that allows you to now think about the whole question again. There are tricks to it, because certain things would come up when you are not prepared.
Yes.
So you always have to know the tricks to public speaking. So repeating the question, asking them to repeat the question, you repeating the question, or you can even ask them to give an example.
Yeah.
They are all skills or tricks to buy you time. You will never know that I need time to think about it. So you know, can you give me an example? Even spelling bee. Sometimes they tell you, can you put in a sentence? Can you put in the music?
Yeah.
Can you give me the meaning of it?
It's
It's buying
buying time.
time. And you will never know that they really are deficient in processing information very fast. It's just to buy time. So that way you still have to put in place the tricks. If you don't go through a training for somebody to tell you that this is what you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I want us to touch on I feel is one of the biggest canker. Yeah, towards public speaking, or anybody who wants to even just stand in front of a crowd and speak and talk to them. And it's about the nervousness and the fright on it. Someone will say, "Oh, I have stage fright, so I'm not going to go there." Anyone who has stage fright, let's just establish this: can the person overcome that? That's one. What does the person have to do to overcome that? And is it okay for a professional public speaker to be nervous before going to speak?
Yeah.
These are my 3 questions.
So let me shock you with a statistic that between 75 to 85% of every population have glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking. That means that so many people are afraid of public speaking. So if you are one of them, you don't have to really beat yourself up, first of all. Secondly, you can be a professional and still, I'm taking your question, but not in the order you asked me, and still have nervousness. You still have your heart beating, you still, be very nervous about the speaking activity. If anybody tells you that they never feel that way, they may be lying to you. Just last weekend, I'm a TEDx speaker. Before I went on the stage, I'm a public speaking coach already. I was going to speak at the TEDx event. Would you believe that before I was called, I think when I realized that the person who was speaking before me was almost done, before I was called, my heart was beating. And I was like, though I know what I'm going to say. I'm ready for it. But my heart was beating. Yeah. But because I knew what to do in those moments, it helped me. So anybody can, no matter who the person is, big Tony Robbins, the big people, Dale Carnegie, they all have like that feeling, the few minutes before they go and speak. Okay. But they know what to do. Okay. So now, what to do if you have like stage fright? Yeah. So many things come into place. Your perception about the speaking activity is what is causing your stage fright. Because like I said, I've not said that, but there's a sensor in our brain that senses danger. So when you approach public speaking as a dangerous thing, that's when your heart begins to palpitate. Okay. Your hands are shaking and all that. So first of all, tune your mindset as that what I'm going to do is not dangerous. Okay. So that your nerves calms down, the blood circulation, there's a science to all that that happens to the body. But tune your mindset. First of all, work on your mindset. Secondly, I use affirmations. You have to affirm yourself. I've got this. I can do this.
I speak well.
I know what I'm going to say.
I'm about to talk.
That people need me in the room.
Yes.
I am good. I'm confident. I'm a masterpiece. Like you should have your affirmations. Tell yourself certain things. It reprograms your mind. Then your breathing techniques comes in. When you breathe in slowly and out, it calms your nerves and then gets you, ready in the room. I've had instances where I've done all this. I get on the stage. I'm holding the paper in my hand. It's shaking. As soon as you realize that, because of that, your first few minutes, you have to be very aware of what is going on around you so that you take control. Sometimes you'll be holding the microphone in your hand, is shaking, or like a document. Yes. As soon as that happens, gently put the microphone down a little, then take it back. There are all times where they help you. It's like, now I'm ready. Take the microphone back.
Does it not make you look unready?
No.
Okay.
It's because it's not going to be like a 10-minute activity. It's just you realize your hand is shaking. Put the microphone down and just pick it back.
So for instance, and I say this, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
I was telling him yesterday, every time I've had to, every time. So in an instance where I pick a microphone and I drop, fidgeting makes you look uncomfortable.
Good.
That I learned. So in my head, I'm like, I can't do this.
No.
But it's the best thoughts in mind, because when you're shaking, you want to do something like this, right? But then, so what I would typically do, and I'm saying this because I'm confessing my sins. So I typically would do something like, oh my God, why are there so many beautiful people in the room?
That's what I was about to say.
I'm confused. I don't know what to do. So then it's like, oh, I'm genuinely nervous because you are very beautiful. I don't know what to do. I don't think I wore the right dress. I used to buy time.
Yes, and then it also makes your audience warm up to you. Your audience will also warm up to you because now you're making them smile or have something to be happy about. It all helps you.
Yeah.
Like I always say, when you get on the stage, smile to your audience because it warms them up to you and also warms you up to them.
Yeah.
Like you yourself, when you smile, you calm down. When you are too agitated or so serious, that's when you begin to. So calm down. Your smile will release tension. Your breathing techniques will release tension. What you even do in the moment where that you are trying to buy time to calm yourself down, also important. Maybe, how are you all doing? That's the process. You put the microphone down. You put like, can you look at some people, like some pastors, look at your neighbor and say, welcome, and then they are all buying time. So those are all techniques that you should use. You should affirmations, have a positive mindset, breathing techniques, and then also sometimes some people use tongue twisters to lighten up themselves and then not be too rigid. It's not a fight. It's not a marking. It's not an exam. Go and enjoy the stage. Go and speak to them. Be happy. Share your knowledge. It's your knowledge. Nobody is in your head. But don't lie to them. Just share.
But what about you saying what they believe? So
go and have fun. It's fun. It's not again in the mood. It is fun time.
It's good. It's good that we brought this. And I also want to establish this. We are learning from you. And as you said, it's free masterclass for both of us too as well. You get it. And I think, for me, for instance, when it comes to being spontaneous at things, I think that's a gift. It's not a skill. It's not something that I learned. But I just feel like it's something that happened one way or the other, and I picked it up, and it's there. So I'm emceeing an event or I'm doing something, and all of a sudden something goes in wrong. I joke about it at that particular moment, but the thing here is you have to really know about your jokes. You can throw a joke and it is a dry one, and that would just put everybody off.
You see,
so
there's
a thin line between,
and then there's the other one that's, what happened is not a joke matter.
It's not a joke matter. You get it. So you have to be very, very careful about it.
It can be a very good joke, but a bad time.
But I think we've confessed to ourselves as public speakers that because it's fine to get nervous, before a time. The day that we don't get nervous, we feel like probably that day, maybe something, it doesn't have to happen or something like that. I mean, the nervousness, is it an affirmation that the thing will go on right?
I think it differs. Okay, I would like to answer this. I'm sorry. I'm taking that from you. Because days when I am not nervous is two things. It's either the space is a comfortable space.
Good.
So for instance, in church, because I show up every time in that space, I don't get nervous every time.
Okay.
So when I say, I exaggerated a little bit when I say every time I pick a microphone, I get nervous. But in the space where the people are familiar faces, I start with, so I don't get nervous. And also there are times when you have aced the research for the event. Right? I remember one time I was called for the Youth Leadership Parliament. And at the time, that was when I was introducing myself to politics. So, and big shout out to Nanaba. She had stressed my brain to want to go and read plenty. So I'm like, my brain, my brain, You know, I was looking into politics and current affairs, and I was doing a lifestyle show. So it's like my head is so full with all these information. What am I going to use it for? And I was called to come and host the Youth Leadership Parliament. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was ready for it.
Yeah.
I remember I hosted it with my brother, but when I went in there, when I started, my brother was like, Mimi, this one there before you. Omega. It's like, Mimi, this thing there before you. Charlie, take the whole thing because to be like, you make ready for the thing.
Yeah.
So in instances like that, I am not nervous and I'm not scared where I'm not nervous. It doesn't shake me. I'm not scared that, today that I'm not nervous, is that everything is going to go wrong. No, it's because maybe at this point, I am too excited about what I want to do. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
So you've adapted to it. Is that it?
She enjoys it.
Okay.
Something that you enjoy, you hardly get nervous about. You enjoy it. And it was also your mindset. Because like I said, if you view the thing as something that is dangerous, oh, maybe the people are going to be overcritical. But you took it like, it's time for me to share my knowledge.
Yes.
I've acquired too much to even think that I don't know enough.
Yeah.
I've acquired enough to think that even when I make a mistake, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter,
I can correct myself. It's like your mindset is that you are ready for it and you enjoy it. If you enjoy something, there's no way. So there are days where you'll be okay. There are days when you are being critical
biggest
about
distraction.
yourself.
Yeah.
I think this one is to the upcomers. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah. They say I've been Mami 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been with so
Come, they can hire you.
Come, they can hire you. Sanya movement. But one last big distraction would be maybe you're going to speak, and it's for upcomers for that matter. This is your first time or second time or third time, but you enter into the room and you are not expecting a particular dignitary.
Okay.
One person. Or you're not expecting a particular person, or probably your ex even comes through. All these things. No, I'm talking because
No, I'm not doing it. I'm
somebody a more here will show this here. But somebody. Okay, so I have probably Nanaba that I look up to like that way, and I enter into a place and here's Nanaba seated right in front. I'm like, hey,
that's one.
that one.
That's
How do you
particular
overcome that?
situation.
Oh, acknowledge her presence.
Just by acknowledging is okay.
When you acknowledge her presence, like I always say, your brain sees Nanaba not as somebody who's coming to, mark you or make you feel uncomfortable. But in that moment when you acknowledge that there is this person here in this room, you calm down.
You calm down.
And then you know that no matter what, even she's marking you or whatever, it's not like she's coming to do that in front of people and all that. I feel like you should acknowledge, even when you have distractions, you should acknowledge them sometimes.
First of all, is it to yourself or to them? Or to the crowd?
Depends. If it would be useful to them, you can also do it. So let's say, for instance, you go there and the president is there.
Yeah.
You weren't expecting the president. You go in there. Acknowledge the presence of the president. You can do that in front of everybody. Right. So everybody also, knows that the president is there. And I don't think there will be any issue about the presence of the president, unless your mindset is that the president's here, so I don't have to say anything. So I'm very careful. And then now you are gathering thoughts as to selection of your words.
That's what happens.
Yeah, but
so, for instance, in a situation like the typical example he like, I go to a room, knowing how critical Nana was of me. I enter a room when I see her sitting there, I will not be comfortable. I remember I got 2 interviews that I had to give to her because, Charlie, I couldn't. And in my head, it's not because I could not. It's just because in my head, she's bigger. And I could never match up. The day we had an interview with my mom, I couldn't sleep the night before. And I told her after the interview, she was like, there's no way. I'm like, it's true. Because I know your IQ level. And I'm like, what am I going to ask this woman that will match, you know?
So you are seeking perfectionism, which is
the
no
problem.
good.
Okay.
Which is no good. Like I said, you should be yourself. And when you acknowledge that person, even the person is good, person is coming to mark you, you acknowledge that the person is there. even if the person is going to give you feedback after the interview, you know that it's going to be a constructive one.
So then public speaking is not about being perfect.
No. I said
Embrace
go
your
and
flaws.
enjoy the stage.
Embrace your
Go and
flaws as a
enjoy the
public
stage.
speaker, as an upcoming public speaker, someone who desires to want to speak in public. Embrace your flaws, and that's what Jemima has been teaching us this morning. She's actually made it so simple and very exciting and very easy to learn. So this morning, public speaking 101 masterclass. How do we find you? How do we connect with you if we want to learn more from your brilliant self? I enjoyed every bit of this conversation. Trust me.
Thank you. So you find me on Instagram at Gem on Purpose. That's the name of the brand. Gem, G-E-M. Gem like a precious substance.
Yes.
Gem on Purpose on Instagram. You can also find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Jemima Akosua Okaikor Okai, M-A.
Okay.
Yeah, so you find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. I don't give my Facebook out because it's not really my major platforms.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So Instagram and LinkedIn are my major platforms.
Great.
We see it.
Great.
Thank you so much for coming, Jemima. Like I said, I
much.
enjoyed every bit of the conversation. You did make us feel like a part of this conversation, so thank you for coming through.
Sure.
Public speaking 101, like I said, masterclass went on. If you missed the class, please make sure to watch a repeat of the show. It's on X. Go and watch it right now because it was good. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Now we're going to plug into something really exciting right after the short commercial break. We'll be right back.